I see a lot of people, young people, blowing their money on stupid stuff. And just keep an idea, man. I'm 51 years old right now. Look older, but I'm only 51. So I'm hoping to have another 20 years, in this thing. And what I get a kick out of most is helping, people in their 20s and 30s that are just getting started. And what I can say is this: keep as many as you can, especially you have an opportunity coming up in this down market in the next year where you're going to be able to buy houses for $100,000 less than you would have a year ago. And it's going to keep on getting better for this year. So do what you can. I always try to put my stuff on 15-year notes because I had, and I didn't care whether I made money. I had enough money I was making in my regular business.
Company,
company.
That if you broke even.
That's what all I was looking to do
Wow.
was break even. That's it. As you go, you're paying a lot less interest and you're paying it down a lot faster. Even if you're breaking even, 300 of that's going to principal.
Sure.
Then after the first couple of years, and 400, then 500, then 600, and then rents hopefully go back up, and you're getting, then you got appreciation.
Now you
that
get
starts
cash flow.
going. Every 10-year period, you look at, year over year, or every 10 years, it's going to be. So I remember in 2006, I'm like, man, we're never going to get back to 2006 prices.
Yeah.
In 2016, we're like, oh man, we're past 2006 prices.
Had you just held, even the people that bought in the peak, right?
Yep.
Like had you just held for a decade,
yeah,
you'd have been fine.
Yep, exactly. A lot of people went to and decided to do the foreclosure route, which I could understand, especially the ones that could, like, okay, I'm in a house and I owe $500,000 on, and there's a model match 2 doors down that I could buy for $320.
Yeah.
And so I could be stuck in this house for $500,000, or I could buy this one at $320 and let this one at $500,000 go. It's $180,000
For sure.
And so I understand that why they wanted to do that. And honestly, what does it cost them? 2 years? Well, they're not going anywhere in 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well take the you're basically taking $180,000. So I don't blame people for doing that. But then the lenders cut. They saw that and cut down on that. But yeah, I mean, it's only 2 years is it, and so I don't blame. I mean, when the market goes down 50, 60%,
Sure. Yeah.
it was a crazy time.
Right.
I went from making at the time, the most money I ever made in 2006 to 2007 making 10% of what I made in 2006. It was the scariest time of my entire career. I didn't know what to do. I had no answers. Didn't know when it was going to stop. Didn't know where the bottom was. 2007 was, as far as my business career goes, was by far and away the toughest year I ever had to navigate in my entire life.
Dang. Yeah. Crazy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Was there anything that got you through it? I mean, you just knew that you were going to come out the other end of it, and you just had to keep on keeping on, or?
So I had to consolidate. We had 2 offices. I had to get rid of one and consolidate that. I had partners that couldn't come up. We were hemorrhaging money. They couldn't come up with the money, so I had to buy them out so I could take care of the business. And it was tough. The good thing is I saved my money. I wasn't frivolous with my money. I didn't go out and buy a bunch of stuff. So I had the money to spend, and I knew it was going to turn around. And one of my biggest qualities or traits or things that I'm able to kind of figure things out and what's next.
Yeah.
And I've always been able to reinvent myself. When one thing goes away, trying to figure out what's coming up next. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason that I've survived in this business. I mean,
23 years.
In I think it was 2016 or 17, I felt like I was getting passed by. I went up on and did with Chris Hyman. I did an event. He was doing a real estate investment association. He was like
they're like
or whatever,
ASBREA or whatever.
Yeah. And so I was up on stage, and he asked me to go up there, and I was up on stage, and I got Carlos called me an OG, and I didn't know what an OG meant. And I'm like, "What is an OG?" He's original gangster. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, Doug goes out to the house." He's like, "I don't go out to the house. I make phone calls. We're doing all this business, and I got this, that, and the other thing going." And I'm like, "Holy mackerel, man! I'm I'm getting passed by all these guys, and I'm like, I remember doing that to the old guard.
Yeah.
And I remember passing them, going like, wow, I used to look up to these guys, and now I passed them. Like I left them in the dust, and I go, the same exact thing is happening to me, and it made me sick to my stomach.
Interesting.
And so I'm like, what can I do? And I made one of the best decisions of my professional career. I didn't have an ego. I don't have an ego that says I'm better than everybody else and I don't care. And I didn't put my head in the sand and just keep on saying, because I didn't want to be like, who moved my cheese?
Yeah.
Because I knew it was coming. Like my cheese was going to go away. It was getting moved. And I decided to join a mastermind group called Collective Genius.
Oh, wow. Yep.
And
Pretty familiar with them, yeah.
yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Joe Polish and Dean Graziosi, right? And or is that a different group?
It's a different group.
Okay, got it.
Different
Okay.
group, yeah. And I went in there, humble as could be, and laid out my business on the in front of all my peers that do what I do all around the country, and let them light me up for all the things I was doing wrong. And you go around and I've had a pretty good business for a long time, and you get complacent.
Yeah.
And you do things, and it's like, oh, things are good, But I wasn't running my company like a business. We weren't getting, our average lead time to get back to a lead was like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that we had one guy that was doing lead management. So we didn't really have a CRM. It was mostly sticky notes.
Legal pad.
Oh, it was horrible. Like my business was a joke.
Yeah.
It really was.
But you were making money for so
but
long.
I was making money that it was like, hey,
Yeah.
why don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Sure, yeah.
But I realized that was happening. I'm like, man, I'm spending all this money on advertising. These guys are spending a tenth of what I'm spending.
Sure.
And they're doing just as many deals as I'm doing. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, what's going on? And so we really, I got an implementer to come in and just say, okay, this is what I want done, and I want people to be called back within 3 minutes. I went into, and they're like, "There's no way, Doug," and I'm like, "Don't tell me there's no way." I'm like, "This is happening. We're going to make this happen." And I'm like, I want everyone to stop saying there's no way or we can't. How can we? Who do we got to hire? Give me, how do I go from A to Z? Because that's where I want to go. What steps do we have to take? Who do we have to hire? What do we have to do? How do we get our Salesforce, our CRM, to go from sticky notes to everything is in Salesforce? How do we get to have automatic replies to all these people? Like how do we record phone calls and have all the quality control and everything? And so we implemented more in that next 6 months to get us to where we are, and we became a professional business.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, and
that's really cool.
From literally, the way I've done it my whole life to a professional business, and we've been operating that way ever since 2016.
Wow. And did you see a really large revenue increase after doing that?
Humongous,
Yeah.
double.
Wow.
Double.
And you were making a lot of money up until 2016, so that really is saying something too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not like you went from zero to whatever. I mean, you'd done. I mean, if you've done, what would you say, 22,000 deals in your career, give or take, right? Yeah. Then from 99 to 2016, I mean, you did probably at least 10,000 deals or more.
We did a ton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we got, and just to give you an idea, in Arizona, so we buy in Arizona and Southern California. Arizona last year, in 2022, we did 522 deals.
Wow.
And I think 390 in California.
So almost 1,000 deals. Wow.